Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, welcome everyone to our Mahabharat character series. We'll begin with our prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatyadesh Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasali Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, welcome everyone. We are discussing the wonderful character, life and teachings of Yudhishthira Maharaj. So last time we discussed how Yudhishthira Maharaj, as we know, he is the son of Dharma or Yamraj, and therefore he is endowed with all the wonderful godly virtuous qualities. And we also heard that because Yudhishthir, he had such wonderful qualities, very quickly he became dear to all the citizens. Everyone wanted him to become the king. Seeing all these things, Duryodhan became very, very envious of all the Pandavas. He plotted so many different things, different means to kill Pandavas. But somehow, by the intervention of Vidura and by the intelligence, Yudhishthir, he saved all his brothers because he was being the elder. He had the responsibility of saving all of them, protecting them. And then we saw that ultimately, when they won the hand of Draupadi, when Arjuna won the hand of Draupadi, and they brought her back, Kunti Maharani, she told, please share whatever you have brought. And then Yudhishthira said, because this thought of sharing wife, I think that this is correct because it is coming in my mind. This thought has entered my mind, so it has to be right. That was the conviction of Yudhishthir Maharaj. And of course, later Vyasdev came and he described the whole story, the past life of Draupadi, how he had asked for benediction from Lord Shiva. And then ultimately, Dhritarashtra, he gave this Khandava Prastha, which Pandavas, they transformed it into a beautiful city of Indraprastha. And then one day, Yudhishthir Maharaj, as he was there in the assembly, Narad Muni came. And Narad Muni, he started describing various assemblies in the universe. He described the assembly of Varuna, Indra, Brahma, Yamraj. And while describing the assembly house of Yamraj, he said, oh, your father Pandu is there. And he is living there very happily, but he has a message for you. He said that Pandu has told that you please perform Rajasuya Yagya so that he can continue staying in the uh, assembly house of Yamraj. That was one reason Yudhishthir Maharaj wanted to do this sacrifice. And another reason of this sacrifice was he wanted to glorify Krishna, Yudhishthir Maharaj, he was such a great devotee of the Lord. It is described in Mahabharata and Bhagavatam also. Whatever he would do with one intention of serving Krishna in a better way, to bring all the citizens close to God. Bhagavatam describes that this Yudhishthir Maharaj, he was such a saintly king. All he would think was how he could serve Krishna better. Apipala dharma raja pitrivatranjayan praja nisprihas sarva kamebhyo Krishna padanu sevaya. It is described in Bhagavatam that Yudhishthir Maharaj, he was Dharmaraj. He was maintaining the citizens just like his own children. Pitrivat, just like father takes care of the children, Yudhishthir, he was taking care of all the citizens. Personally, he had no desires, no material desires. Nispriha. Spriha means desires. Yudhishthir had no material desires. He was completely spiritual in his thoughts. Mukunda Manaso Dvija. He was always thinking about Lord Mukunda. Apipala Dharmaraja Pitrivat Ranjayan Praja Nisprihas Sarva Kamebhyo Krishna Padanu Sevaya. How one can become free from material allurements in this world? The material allurements, they are the cause of anxieties. The more we get attracted to the things of the world, the more we want them. The more we want them, more we have to endeavor to get them. And the result is unlimited trouble, unlimited misery. It is described that any endeavor you do in this world to get money, it is imbued with four things. Either you want to get money, you want to increase money, you want to protect money, or even if you want to spend money, you experience four things. Unlimited endeavor, ayasha, ayash means endeavor, tras, misery, chinta, anxiety, brahma, illusion. These four things have to come. अर्थस्य साधने सिद्धे उत्कर्षे रक्षणे व्यये नाशोपभोग आयासस्त्रासश्चिंता भ्रमो नृणाम. In anything related to money, a person experiences these four things: intense endeavor, anxiety, suffering, and illusion. So Yudhishthir Maharaj, because he was free from any personal interests, he was completely absorbed in serving Krishna. Krishna Padanu Sevaya. He was absorbed in serving Krishna. That is the way we can be satisfied and peaceful. Being a spiritualist, being a Krishna conscious person does not mean that we have no ambitions. Yudhishthir, as we'll see, he wanted to do such a huge sacrifice. He was extremely ambitious. He wanted to become the king of the whole world. That is what Rajasuya Yagya means. Every king should surrender to you. He was very ambitious. But why he wanted to do this yagya, that is very important. And this is very, very significant for every one of us. Because many times people think, oh, coming to spiritual life means you have to give up all your desires, all your ambitions, just be satisfied with simple things. But Yudhishthir Maharaj, by his personal example, is showing that you can be ambitious, but for what? That is important. Your intentions are more important than external actions. Externally, a spiritualist, a devotee may be doing the same thing which a outsider, a person who is absorbed in material sense gratification is doing. But the intention may be poles apart. As we can see in the case of Yudhishthir Maharaj, He was such a great king and he wanted to become the emperor of the whole world. And in fact, he became the emperor of whole world. But his only intention was he wanted to glorify Krishna. He was so very famous. Kim te kama surasparha mukunda manusodvija adi jaharur mudam ragya shudhitasya yathetare. Even devatas would envy the glory of Yudhishthir. He was unparalleled king. He had such wealth, such glory, such fame that even devatas would envy the wealth of Yudhishthir. That's how famous, that's how glorious he was. But personally, he was Mukunda Manasa Dvija. He was absorbed in Mukunda, Lord Krishna. And that's how he could maintain perfect uh, peace and calm of the mind. He was absorbed in the principles of religion because he was having Krishna in his mind always. That is a secret to always be on the path of virtue. Even if somebody becomes wealthy, billionaire, or million, or whatever, but if he is absorbed in spirituality, he is absorbed in devotion, then he'll never distract from the path of virtue. So Yudhishthir Maharaj, with these thoughts, he wanted to glorify Krishna. So with these thoughts, he wanted to do this Rajasuya Yajna. And at the same time, as Yudhishthir was thinking to do this Rajasuya Yajna, a messenger came. This messenger was coming from the kings who were imprisoned by Jarasandh. Jarasandh, he was a very, very powerful personality. And he had arrested thousands of kings and he wanted to sacrifice them to become more and more powerful. So secretly, these kings they sent a messenger to help to seeking help. So Yudhishthir, with the thought of doing Rajasuya Yajna, he had gone to Krishna in Dwarka. At the same time, a messenger from these kings came to give message to Krishna. So Uddhava, he was asked by Krishna, "Oh Krishna, now these two things have come. Yudhishthir is inviting me for this Rajasuya Yajna, and these kings they have sent this message asking for help. What should I do?" Just this is very interesting. Krishna, who is all knowing, all intelligent, all powerful, he is asking Uddhava what he should do. Why he is doing so? Because Krishna always wants to give glory to his devotees. He never likes to take glory. He likes to give all the fame, all the glory to his devotees. Although devotees do not like it. Devotees, on the contrary, they want to glorify Krishna, and Krishna wants to glorify devotees. So, therefore, there is a constant competition going on between devotees and Krishna. Who will glorify more? So Uddhava, he understood that, oh, Krishna does not need my advice, but because he's asking, I'll just tell something. He said, "Oh Krishna, if we go and somehow kill the Jarasandh, then both these purposes will be solved. Because if Yudhishthir Maharaj wants to do Rajasuya Yajna, Jarasandh is the biggest obstacle. So we have to kill them first." So Krishna, he liked this idea and he described his plan to Yudhishthir. He said, he told Yudhishthir that myself, along with Arjuna and Bhima, will go in the disguise of Brahmanas and will ask Jarasandh the charity of fighting. Jarasandh, although he was a very, very sinful and irreligious king, but interestingly, he was devoted to Brahmanas. He would give lots of charity to Brahmanas because he knew that if Brahmanas are pleased, then I'll get power. So for sure, first of all, Yudhishthira did not like this idea. He said, "Oh Krishna, oh Keshava, I don't want to risk the lives of my brothers. I don't want to risk your life. I don't want to do this Rajasuya Yajna. Just forget this altogether." But Krishna said, "Don't worry, oh Yudhishthira. We will definitely be able to kill Jarasandha." And Bhima and Arjuna also convinced him. And ultimately, the long story is there how they went, and then ultimately Bhima killed Jarasandha. Then Yudhishthira Maharaj sent his four brothers, Bhima, Arjuna, Nakul, and Sahadev, in all the four directions to conquer all the four directions. Arjuna, he was sent to north. So Arjuna went to north, and then he fought with the king called Bhagadatta. Then he went, and there was a kingdom of Shishupal. Shishupal, interestingly, although he was envious of Krishna, but he accepted this proposal of Yudhishthir Maharaj. He offered his tributes. He accepted the emperorship of Yudhishthir. Then Arjuna went further till north, and then he went till higher realms. And then ultimately he came back conquering everyone. Then Arjuna, as he returned, so Yudhishthir, he was waiting for other. So Bhima, he was sent to east. In the eastern direction, Bhima, he fought with many kings. There was a king of Matsya Desh, and he defeated all of them. And then there was a kingdom of Karna, Anga. Bhima, although Karna, he put a very fierce fight, but Bhima overpowered him. He defeated him. So interestingly, Bhima, Karna was defeated by Arjuna also many times, and in this instance, Karna was defeated by Bhima also. He also came back. Nakula, he went to the west, and there also he defeated so many kings. The tribes were there. He also came back. And then Sahadeva, he went to south. There he had to fight with the famous monkeys from Ramayana, Mainda and Dvivida. They were very, very powerful monkeys, but he defeated them. Then he went to further south, and there was a king of Mahishmati. This king, he was a great devotee of Surya Dev, uh, Agni Dev. And this king had married his daughter to Agni. So Agni, fire god, he was always there in the kingdom of Mahishmati, protecting this kingdom. So when Sahadev, he started attacking, he almost overpowered the entire army, but suddenly he saw that there is a fire, and this fire started burning all the soldiers of Sahadev. And then ultimately he realized that, oh, this is Agni Dev. So he prayed to Agni Dev, oh Agni Dev, please don't create obstacles. We want to establish the supremacy of Yudhishthir Maharaj. He's such a great king. He's such a devoted king. He's a great devotee of Lord Krishna. So, and we want to establish his supremacy. So please don't create obstacles. Agni Dev listened to his prayers. And then Sahadev conquered that kingdom also. He came back. All the brothers, they conquered the four directions. They came back. And then Yudhishthir, he sent a message to Hastinapur. Dhritarashtra, although he wanted Duryodhan to become the king, but because Yudhishthir was also from a Kuru dynasty, the Pandavas are also basically Kauravas. They are from Kuru dynasty. So Dhritarashtra gave all the blessings to the Yudhishthir Maharaj also. And then ultimately, this famous Rajasuya sacrifice was arranged. Huge celebration was there. Many kings from various parts of the world were coming to attend this festival, this great Rajasuya Yajna. Yudhishthira Maharaj had called many great sages, and heading all of them was Vyasdev. Vyasdev was personally doing all the sacrificial ceremonies. Krishna, he chose to do the humble service of washing the feet of all the Brahmanas. That is very amazing. Often people tell, oh, Krishna, your God. You are calling Krishna as your God. He's so very arrogant. In Bhagavad Gita, he is telling again and again how he is God. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattas sarvam pravartate. Everything is coming from me. I am the seed giving father of everything. Why your God? Why Krishna is so very arrogant? Actually, Krishna is not arrogant. When Krishna is speaking all these things, he is speaking out of humility, just few little things about himself. In fact, his glories are unlimited. But just to favor all the living entities, all of us, Krishna is telling a little bit about himself, that why are you struggling so much in this world? Just come to me. I will protect you. I will give you all the shelter. Just don't fear. This is how Krishna is. And in this pastime, he is showing by his personal example how humble God is. Again and again, Krishna has shown that how he is so very humble. Washing the feet of Brahmanas, washing the feet of Sudama, becoming the chariot driver of his own devotee. It is such a humbling experience. But for Krishna, glorifying devotees and serving Brahmanas is his greatest joy. So if Krishna gives such importance to his devotees, how much importance we should give to those who are dear to Krishna? That is the importance of devotees in life of a spiritualist. If Krishna is so very happy serving his own devotees, how we should be happy serving them, because that is the only way to come close to Krishna. As they say in the Western world, if you love me, love my dog. If you want to serve and please Krishna, you have to serve and please the devotees of Krishna also. That is the most important thing in spiritual life. It is unavoidable. People, they think, oh, I don't want anyone to come between me and God. I can approach God directly. How is it possible? It is not possible to approach God directly. We have to take shelter of the devotees of Krishna. And when we serve devotees, then Krishna becomes pleased. And Krishna, just like now, he is taking a humble position of washing the feet of all the Brahmanas. He is entering Srimad Bhagavatam and he is entering Bhagavad Gita in such a humble menial position as a chariot driver. First pastime of Krishna in Srimad Bhagavatam is Krishna is on the chariot, driving the chariot of Arjun. And the same is there in Bhagavad Gita also. Humility is crucial. It is the foundation of spiritual life. If you want to become advanced in spiritual life, humility is very important. And Krishna is showing by his personal example how humble one should be. In the Rajasuya Yajna, thousands of people came. Thousands of Brahmanas were invited, thousands of kings were invited. It was a great festival. And because it was a sacrifice performed by the Pandavas, so all the Kuru dynasty kings also had come. Huge palaces were constructed just for this sacrifice. Ashwathama, he was given the charge of hospitality. Duryodhan was in charge of receiving gifts. Vidura was in charge of treasury. Krishna was in charge of washing and receiving the Brahmana, washing the feet of Brahmanas and receiving them. Dusashan was in charge of food. So everybody was involved. And Yudhishthir, he was the pride of whole Kuru dynasty. Everybody was so very proud of Yudhishthir because he had increased the glory of his family, his dynasty. It was a massive affair, massive festival. For several days it went on. And then at the conclusion, Yudhishthir and Draupadi, they took their ceremonial bath. Draupadi's hair was decorated nicely. She was dressed in very costly garments. She was also so very happy because, first of all, she was the queen, and she was also having the desire to have Krishna worshipped as a supreme person. Yudhishthir was coronated, and the Brahmanas, they extracted a very special drink called Soma juice. They told Yudhishthir, "Oh Yudhishthir Maharaj, this Soma juice, this has to be distributed to everyone, beginning with the most important personality here. O king, please decide who should take this Soma juice first." There were great devatas, Brahma, Shiva, Indra, all the powerful devatas were there. And everybody was thinking now, who should be appointed as for the Agra Puja. Immediately Bhishma got up, said, all these great devatas, they are wonderful, powerful, but Krishna is the supreme personality. He should be worshipped first. When Bhishma he spoke this, everyone agreed unanimously. They exclaimed, "Wonderful! Yes, Jai!" Yudhishthir became delighted. Sahadev got up and he announced that now we should offer our tributes to Krishna. First of all, Yudhishthir, he is such a pious king, such a great devoted king, and everybody has unanimously agreed that Krishna should be worshipped. He is the supreme person. Everybody was agreeing except one person. There were few kings, but one person was really foaming with anger. That was Shishupal. He could not tolerate the praise of Krishna. He immediately got up. With a loud voice, he said, "We came here to offer tributes to Yudhishthir Maharaj, thinking that he is a great king, but now we have understood that he is a fool. He has decided to offer this Agra Puja to a person whose status is not known. Nobody knows who is he. Is he a king? Is he a Vaishya? Is he a Kshatriya? Nobody knows. He's a coward. He ran away from the battlefield. He is taking shelter of ocean." Shishupal started blaspheming Krishna again, very strong words. Bhishma, he defended Krishna. But Shishupal, he started chastising Bhishma. He said, "Oh Bhishma, you are also fool. You are taking a vow of celibacy because you are important and you want to, hide that." Bhima, he became enraged and he was about to pounce on Shishupal to kill him. Bhishma somehow pacified. Shishupal had took out his sword. Everybody was shocked. Everybody was disturbed because in sacrificial arena there should be no bloodshed. Otherwise the whole sacrifice would be, destroyed. Yudhishthir, he was worried. Then ultimately, Shishupal, he became so insane, he continued blaspheming Krishna. Krishna had blessed the mother of Shishupal that he would forgive 100 offenses of Shishupal. Every time Shishupal would criticize Krishna, he would count. This time he lost the count. This is the nature of envy. Nature of envy is such that we cannot tolerate other person being glorified. One loses all good intelligence and speak things which they later regret many times. That is the power of envy. Under the influence of envy, we speak things which are really abominable, because envy manifests as anger. Shishupal, he continued blaspheming Krishna, and he crossed 100 limit. And then Krishna, he sent his Sudarshan, and bloodless surgery was done. Sudarshan cut off the head of Shishupal. Ultimately, the sacrifice was complete. Krishna was celebrated as supreme person. Yudhishthira, he was so very joyful. He had tears in his eyes. He was so very delighted. He went to Krishna. He said, "Oh Krishna, I have performed this sacrifice just for your pleasure, just to glorify you as the king of everyone. We have done all this. You are the master, we are your servants, you are our Lord forever. Today, the purpose of this Rajasuya sacrifice is fulfilled." He said, Yudhishthira said, "Oh Krishna, whatever glory we have, it is because of you." Same thing Kunti Maharani also tells in her prayers in Bhagavatam. She's saying, as Krishna is going back, and after this whole war is over, Krishna is going back to Dwarka. Kunti Maharani, she comes and she tells, "Oh Krishna, why are you going? So far, our kingdom has become rich, prosperous, because you are there. Because of you, my sons, they have become glorious kings. It is not our glory. It is all because of you." You know, this is very, very important to understand, that a devotee or whoever you may be, you should always understand that whatever capabilities we have, whatever power we have, whatever strengths we have, whatever intelligence we have, everything is given by Krishna. Krishna is the ultimate owner of everything, and we are just given little spark, little bit of that potency. So a grateful person, a sane person, is always grateful for whatever he has received from Krishna. If somebody is ungrateful, Bhagavatam says there is earth can tolerate everything but not an ungrateful liar. So we have to be grateful to Krishna for whatever we have received in our life. Nobody can claim that they are self-made man, as they say. Nobody is self-made. Everybody is given all the capabilities by Krishna. And as a matter of gratitude, we have to go and surrender, serve Krishna with whatever capacity we have. As Yudhishthira Maharaj is now showing by his personal example, he did such a great sacrifice just to show to the whole world the supremacy of Krishna. A devotee, he always wants to glorify Krishna. That is the heartfelt desire of a devotee. And devotees, they can do unimaginable things to glorify Krishna. Srila Prabhupada, at the age of 70, the age where people they retire to live peacefully, Srila Prabhupada, at the age of 70, with no money, no manpower, no support, he went all alone to America on a cargo ship, suffering 2 heart attacks. seasickness, so many things, so many health problems. Why? He did all this to glorify Krishna. He wanted to tell the whole world, give this whole world this message of Krishna, which he is giving in Bhagavad Gita. For that, he did so many unimaginable things. He underwent such intense troubles and austerities at the age of 70 with one desire in the mind. He wanted to give this Krishna consciousness to the whole world for the benefit of them. That's what Yudhishthira Maharaj is also doing. Yudhishthira Maharaj, he did all this endeavor of conquering the whole world to prove to the whole world that Krishna is the supreme person. When we dedicate ourselves to serve Krishna, to glorify Krishna, we also become happy. That is the ultimate thing we want in life. We want to become happy. Bhagavatam describes, if you want to decorate yourself, if you are standing in front of the mirror, if you want your image to get decorated, you don't decorate the mirror, you decorate yourself. Similarly, if we want to be happy and satisfied, we have to decorate Krishna, we have to serve Krishna, we have to satisfy Krishna, and automatically we will also become happy and satisfied. That is a secret. That is a secret of happiness. That is a secret of satisfaction. Otherwise, by trying to satisfy our own senses, we can never become happy. And Hiranyakashupu is the prime example. We know about Hiranyakashupu. He was the whole and soul emperor of entire universe. Apart from Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva, everybody was under him. Saitham nirjit kakup ekarat vishayan priyan yathopajosham bhunjano natripyat ajitendriyah. Hiranyakashipu was nirjit kakup. He was unconquered emperor of entire universe. Ekarat vishayan priyan. He was attached to sense gratification. He wanted to enjoy. He had best of the women to enjoy. He has all the wealth to enjoy. That's what people want. Thinking that, oh, these things will give me happiness, these things will give me satisfaction. But Hiranyakashipu is a prime example to tell the whole world what is the consequence of all these things. Yathopajosham bhunjano natripyat ajitendriya. Ajitendriya. He had unlimited potential to enjoy. He had unlimited capacity, unlimited avenues to enjoy. Still, he was not satisfied. Ajitendriyaha, because his senses were not in control. So, therefore, if we want to be happy in life, rather than running after satisfying the pleasure, satisfying our senses, we have to turn and try to serve Krishna. That is the best way and the easy way to satisfy our senses. Glorify Krishna, serve Krishna, as Yudhishthira Maharaj is showing. So Yudhishthira Maharaj was so very happy, and the Vedic kings, they take great pride in giving charity. So Yudhishthira Maharaj had given great charity to all these Brahmanas. His wealth was unlimited. All his brothers, they had got unlimited wealth for Yudhishthira. And therefore, Vedic kings, they would rejoice in giving charity, building big temples. One time, a reporter, he asked Prabhupada, he was doing a press conference in a five-star hotel in Australia. One of the reporters, he asked, Swamiji, why are you doing this press conference in this five-star hotel? The sages and the saints are supposed to live simply. Prabhupada said, I can go and sit under a tree and give class. Will you come to listen? Prabhupada said, people in the world, they are attracted by magnificent structures. They are attracted by grandeur. So therefore, to attract them to Krishna consciousness, I have to do all these things. Otherwise, he said, I am satisfied sitting under a tree. In fact, Prabhupada would say many times that I remember my small home, small room in Radha Damodar temple. When Srila Prabhupada was staying in Vrindavan, he was staying in Radha Damodar temple. He had a small room, maybe 10 by 10 feet. Prabhupada would always remember that room. The devotee is not attached to the glamour and the opulence of the world. He is attracted to serving Krishna. That's why the kings, they would make big, big temples. So Yudhishthira Maharaj, in this way, he brought dharmic administration all over the world, established the supremacy of Krishna, and declared to the whole world how Krishna is the supreme person. Krishna, now Yudhishthira Maharaj was meeting Krishna. So Krishna and Yudhishthira, he was crying out of love for Krishna. Krishna, seeing the tears in the eyes of Yudhishthira, he said, O king, you are rightly crowned as a emperor, and I am always your servant. Very interesting. Krishna, because Yudhishthira is elder than Krishna in age, so Krishna would always treat Yudhishthira as a elder, and Krishna would behave as a subordinate. So Krishna told, I am always your servant. Then Yudhishthira Maharaj went to Vyasdev to offer his gratitude. Vyasdev, he told, O Yudhishthir, you have attained great merits by doing this Rajasuya sacrifice. You have established the supremacy of Krishna. You have established dharmic administration all over the world. But let me tell you one thing. After 13 years, there will be a war. And in this war, the Kshatriyas of the world will be destroyed. Saying this, Vyasdev left. Yudhishthir, when he heard this, he became extremely grave. All his joy was gone. He started contemplating how to avoid this. He took a vow. This is a very, very significant thing because this vow will change the future of Yudhishthira Maharaj. He said, to avoid any unfortunate thing, I take a vow to avoid any type of conflict. I will avoid any possible cause of conflict. He says, often the conflicts are caused because of the harsh words. So I take a vow. I will never speak any harsh word to anyone. Conflicts are caused because of partiality. I take a vow. I will be impartial. I will not show any partiality between my sons and sons of others. Conflicts are caused when somebody does not obey the elders. I take a vow. I will always obey the words of my elders. Little did he know that this vow, which he took in all good intentions, it will become the cause of his destruction. Because of this vow, we'll hear that Dhritarashtra, he would summon him, and Dhritarashtra, Yudhishthira, he could not reject or disobey when Dhritarashtra summoned Yudhishthira for a gambling match. After the sacrifice was over, most of the kings, they went back. Duryodhan, he stayed, not to admire the opulence of the palace. He was burning with envy. He was the in charge of receiving the gifts, as we have heard. And so many gifts came that Duryodhan, he became so very envious. Just seeing all these gifts, he was burning with envy. He could not tolerate the opulence of Yudhishthira. Duryodhan, one day, as he was moving in this palace of Yudhishthira, so as we have heard that this palace of Yudhishthira, it was made by Mayadanav. And Mayadanav was very, very mystic personality. And he had made this palace and especially the assembly hall with lots of illusions. Duryodhan was not aware of any of these illusions. Duryodhan, as he was looking around the opulence, he was becoming more and more envious. He was not admiring, he was becoming envious. Admiration means you become happy seeing others' opulence. Envy means you resent it, you condemn it. In this world, however big you may be, you will always find somebody who is greater than you. That is for sure. If we want to live peacefully in this world, we have to cultivate this habit of appreciating what others have. As Narad Muni, he told Dhruva that, oh Dhruva, you will find three types of people in your life. People who are greater than you, who are equal to you, and who are subordinate to you. People who are greater than you, don't envy them, glorify them. Be happy seeing the good things which people have. Those who are equals, make friends with them. And those who are subordinate, lower than you, help them. The more one want to enjoy things, the more he suffers out of envy, seeing that others are enjoying better than me. So basically, it is all coming from the enjoying mentality. Very unfortunately in this world, many times all these vices, they are glorified. Envy is glorified, as they say, neighbors envy, owners pride. Envy is glorified many times. All the vices are glorified many times. Spiritual life is a journey of becoming selfless from being selfish. It is a journey of becoming humble against pride, cultivating humility against being proud, cultivating kindness against being envious, cultivating being patient than being angry. So all these vices, cultivating being chaste against lust. This is the journey we have embarked on. These conditionings, these vices, which are called anarthas, they are there in everyone's heart to a smaller or greater extent. This is a journey of getting purified of all these vices, all these unwanted things. Yudhishthir, he was completely materialistic. And materialistic people, they want wealth and women to enjoy. And he saw that Yudhishthir, he had the greatest of the wealths and most beautiful of all the women, Draupadi, as his wife. Actually, when this Swayamvar of Draupadi was happening, Duryodhana also had gone, but he could not win. He was always envious of Pandavas for having Draupadi. And his anger and envy increased day by day as he was moving around in the palace. One day, as this Duryodhana was walking, there was a still water. He did not realize. He thought that, oh, it is a same flat floor. He walked right into it, fell, and became completely wet. It was a little funny situation. So, out of natural instinct, people who were around, they started laughing, and Pandavas were there, Draupadi was there, started laughing at, because it was a humorous situation. Duryodhan, he did not take it in a light way, he became very angry. Immediately Yudhishthir Maharaj came to help Duryodhan. He brought a dry towel and gave Duryodhan and just tried to pacify him, but his anger could not be pacified. Another time, as he was walking, there was a wall, but he did not realize. He banged himself, banged his head. Nakul and Sahadev came running to help Duryodhan. Other time, he went up to the door and he thought, oh, I think this is some illusion. There was actually a door, but he thought it is illusion. He turned back and he was going back. The doorkeepers were standing, they started smiling. They could not resist. With all these things, Duryodhan's envy and anger increased more and more. He could not tolerate it anymore. Yudhishthira tried to pacify him, but it was of no avail. Duryodhan went back. He wanted to usurp all the kingdom and the opulence of Pandavas. He was practically foaming with envy. He went and plotted with Shakuni. Shakuni told, "Oh Duryodhan, Pandavas are very, very powerful. You cannot defeat them in fight. We'll have to plan some deceitful way." He said, "I am very expert in gambling and Yudhishthir is not so expert. Will if you call them, if you call Yudhishthir for gambling, I give you my promise that I will give all the kingdom. I will get all the kingdom from Yudhishthir. I'll cheat him. I'll give you. Only thing you have to do is you have to arrange for this gambling match." Duryodhan, he was delighted to hear this. Shakuni, he went to Dhritarashtra. He said, "O king, from the time your son Duryodhan has come back from Indraprasth, he has become pale. He has lost his appetite. He has become weak. He is looking very dejected. Something is wrong with him. Please find out." Dhritarashtra, just like a person who is so very attached to his son, he went running and he called Duryodhan. He said, "Duryodhan, what happened? Is everything all right?" Duryodhan said, "How can I tolerate the opulence of Pandavas? I want their kingdom. You have to do something, oh father." And Dhritarashtra and Duryodhan, then he told the plan of gambling. Dhritarashtra, first of all, he was little confused, but ultimately he agreed. Vidura, when he came to know this, he opposed. "Oh, Dhritarashtra, gambling invites all sorts of vices. All wrong things will come. This whole dynasty will be destroyed. Please don't do this." He did not listen. On the contrary, Dhritarashtra sent Vidura himself to call Pandavas for this gambling match. When Vidura reached Indraprasth, Yudhishthir, he became very happy seeing Vidura. But then, when he saw the face of Vidura, Yudhishthir Maharaj, he became concerned because he could see there is something wrong going on. And then Vidura, he explained everything. When Yudhishthir Maharaj, he heard this, he became very concerned. He said, "Gambling is the cause of fighting. I don't want to gamble. But if King Dhritarashtra has called, how can I refuse? I know that gambling cannot bring any good for anybody, but I have taken a vow to follow my elders. How can I refuse?" So he was left with no option. That same vow which he took in right intentions, now it became the cause of destruction. It's the beginning of the destruction of the Pandavas in terms of losing their everything. Ultimately, next day morning, Yudhishthir and all the Pandavas, along with Draupadi, they went to Hastinapur. A huge palace was erected, you know, just for this gambling match. It was a event. It was a magnificent festival. All the kings from various countries had come to see this. because everybody knew there is something wrong which is going to happen. It is going to be a life turning thing. Everybody had come, they were anxious to see what was going to happen. So next day morning, Yudhishthira Maharaj, he came along with all the Pandavas in this assembly. Shakuni, he became very, very happy. He had a malicious look on his face. He came and told, oh Yudhishthir, welcome. You have come for the gambling match. It is so very nice that you have accepted our proposal. Yudhishthir, first of all, he tried to avoid this gambling match. What he said, that we'll see next time. We'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Uh, uh, Hearing about Yudhishthir Maharaj sometimes is very little confusing because he did everything right in his life as per his understanding and even understanding dharmically speaking. But I think there was not a problem which he did not face in his life. Almost. So, Prabhuji, Priya Mataji is asking a question. Prabhuji, can you please explain with examples how envy surfaces in daily life?
Yeah, see, basically, if we are not very deeply rooted in our spiritual values, then anything which we see anybody having, which we don't have, that creates envy in the heart. And when that envy transforms into action, it becomes jealousy or anger. So basically, it is a uh, vice, it is a negative emotion which is there in every one of us, and we cannot avoid it many times. But what we can do is, what is our response to that emotion? Envy is natural in our conditioned state. We cannot avoid it. Unless we become purified, we come to the level of pure devotees. We cannot avoid envy many times. But what we do after that emotion comes in our mind, that is very, very important. You know, and that is what the spiritual life teaches us. That is what these scriptures they teach us by showing the example of various great saints and great devotees, how to deal with these envy. Otherwise, anything you see in the world, others having which we don't have, I remember advertisement of a washing powder. One lady is saying to other, oh uski sari meri sari se safed kaise. so so anything, anything which you see others having which we don't have, because we think, oh, this person will become more famous, this person will become more uh, known, glorious, and I will be put aside, I will not be able to come in front. That is the beginning, that is the seed of envy, that is the root cause of envy, that we want to prove ourselves to be the supreme controllers, supreme, everything best, that only Krishna can have. So therefore this envy is natural in our conditioned state. But when this envious feeling comes, what we do, what we should do, first of all we have to pray to Krishna that, oh Krishna, please, this feeling, this envy which has come in my mind, this is not conducive for my spiritual practices. So please give me intelligence so that I can overcome this envy. I can, deal with this situation in a right way. So that is the beginning prayer which we can make to Krishna when we get these feelings of envy in our mind, in our heart. And secondly, what we have to do is we have to consciously, have some uh, points of action ready. Whenever such thoughts come in mind, We have to be something's ready. Okay, if this envy comes in my mind, what I'm going to do? We should not plan at that moment. As they say, if the house is on fire, you don't dig well, right? We have to do the arrangement prior. So we have to have some prayers, some of our convictions written, so that as soon as these feelings they come, we may revise them, we may remember them, we may pray our offer our prayers. That will subdue these feelings. That is what is expected from a aspirant, spiritual aspirant. We cannot expect that, oh, these feelings should not come, they will come. The feelings of lust, anger, greed, envy, pride, all these things will come. But we should have our plan of action ready. How I will handle all these emotions, how I will handle these vices. So, and if that is our consistent approach, then Krishna recognizes, oh, this person is really working hard to overcome these voices. Let me help him. That is called Dadami Buddhi Yogam. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Tesham Satata Yuktanam Bhajatam Priti Purvakam Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam. So if Krishna sees our constant struggle to overcome these vices, then Krishna gives the intelligence. Krishna gives his mercy. And when the mercy is achieved, the things become very easy. Currently, to overcome envy may not be easy. Overcoming anger, lust may not be easy. But the more we struggle, the more we show to Krishna that, oh Krishna, I want to overcome these things. I want to come close to you. I want to serve you properly. It is not a 1 day job or 1 month. It may take a long time. But we don't have to give up. We have to have that patience, enthusiasm, and determination. Utsaha, Nishchay, and Dhairya. We have to ultimately show to Krishna that I want it. I want to come out of this envy. I want to overcome these vices, these anarthas. And for sure, Krishna will help. Krishna will show mercy. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
There are more questions. So, Priya Mataji is asking why vows taken in good faith and good intention and selflessly didn't go well. What is the lesson there for us in this?
See, this story of Yudhishthira Maharaj tells us that whatever you may try, things will not go the way we want many times. In those situations, we should not blame God. In those situations, we should keep, you should have our faith very strong, not blaming, oh Krishna, why this is happening to me. As we'll see in this next class, that Yudhishthir, all the while, he kept praying to Krishna for help, even while he was gambling. Although he was doing, uh, engaging in this gambling, but still, because a devotee is, his only shelter is Krishna. He never blames Krishna, even if we do all things right. But many times things will not go. And we have to understand that it is not Krishna who is putting all these difficulties in my life. It is my own actions which I have performed in the last life. That's how they are coming to me now in this way. I must have done something. That's why I'm not able to succeed in this way, in this action. So, therefore, our thought process should be very clear. Whenever things don't go the way we want, we should always have intense faith in the uh, actions of Krishna, in the intentions of Krishna. Krishna's intention is always to bring us close to Him. How that will happen? That is many times inconceivable. He may not work the way we want. Many times we believe in the omnipotence of Krishna. Omnipotence means the all powerful nature of Krishna, but we don't believe in the omniscience of Krishna. Omniscience means all knowing nature of Krishna. We go and tell Krishna, oh Krishna, I want this, this, this. I have my plans ready. You don't have to think. You just do the way I want. You know, you can fulfill my desires. I have the plan ready. So therefore, Krishna does not work that way. It is very interesting that when we come under the purview of Krishna consciousness, our destiny is in the hand of Krishna, because Krishna takes active part in the life of his devotee. He makes sure that a devotee comes closer to spiritual life, closer to devotional service. And what he does, how he does, that is many times inconceivable. So therefore, although Yudhishthira Maharaj also took these vows with good intentions, but Krishna had a other plan. He wanted to show the world the vice of gambling. And in all these situations, the Pandavas, their devotion never decreased. Although Draupadi was, thoroughly insulted, she never criticized Krishna. She questioned Krishna, but she never criticized Krishna. That is what these Pandavas and Draupadi, they are showing by their personal example. In all the situations of life, whether the things are going according to my way or not, I will not give up faith in Krishna. Krishna is my Lord always. You know, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he speaks in his Shikshashtakam prayers. Ashlishyava padaratam pinashtumam adarshanan maramhatam karotuva yatha tathava vidhatu lampato mat prananathastu same mat prananathastu. So Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying, "Oh my Lord, I am your servant always. Either you embrace me, love me, or even if you kick me." Although Krishna will never do that, but he's saying like that. You may treat me whatever way you want. I will never leave your feet. That is what is shown by Pandavas in this incident. They never blamed Krishna. And that is the mood we have to cultivate. It is not a small thing, it is a very high thing. It is many times unimaginable. But at least these are the ideals which are there in front of us to follow. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Krishna. There
Thank
is,
you very much. Prabhuji, there's one more question.
yeah, yeah.
If you have time, can I take it up?
Yes, yes.
So, Prabhuji, Vani Mataji is asking, Hare Krishna, Yudhishthir Maharaj, between his vow and command of the king, was torn apart. How does one balance the word given and not defy the elders if their command or request is unethical?
Okay. Yeah. So, Yudhishthir Maharaj, because he had taken a vow of following the words of elders, because he was assuming that elders will always give right instructions, you know, and that's how he had taken a vow. And it is very important to understand the circumstances. We, in our current situation, we may not be able to understand the circumstances which were there at the time of Yudhishthir Maharaj. How the vows are so very important, we will not be able to understand, because we take every year, we take new year resolutions, right? Most of us. And for us, many of those vows, they don't stay even for few days. So we cannot understand the gravity of taking a vow. For a Kshatriya to take a vow, it is like question of life and death. They are ready to die for it. As it is said, about Ramachandra, Raghukula Rita Sada Chaliyai Pran Jai Paravachan na Jai. That is a custom. I am ready to give up my life, but I cannot give up my vow. So therefore, you know, this is a very circumstantial thing which was there at the time of Yudhishthir Maharaj. In our current situation, first of all, we will not be uh, facing such superiors who are giving such wrong advice and we have to follow them. Of course, we have to see, okay, this person, is he giving me right instructions or wrong? As we can see in the case of Bali Maharaj, he rejected his spiritual teacher because Shukracharya, he told him that you don't have to give these 3 steps of land and charity to Vamana. Bali Maharaj rejected his own teacher, you know. So therefore, the scriptures, whenever something is described, portrayed, some incidents is there, we have to see the context and we have to learn a favorable lesson from it. So the basic principle is, in current situation, whenever we are faced with some duality, some difficult decisions, of course we have to take uh, guidance from superiors who are themselves situated on the path of religion, dharma. We don't have to stick to the principles just for the sake of doing it. As Bhishma, we heard in Draupadi's case, when Draupadi asked, "Oh, please tell me, oh Bhishma, do I have to follow all these things? Am I conquered? Have I become slave?" Bhishma said, "I am not able to decide. The principles of dharma are very difficult to understand." Actually, Bhishma, he was caught up in what is called as niyamagraha. Chastity of a woman is for always should be protected. That is the ultimate principle. But Bhishma was caught up in the lower things. So therefore, whenever such confusions and conflicts happen, we have to see the higher principle, not the lower principles. Because we are not on the level of Kshatriyas that we are taking a vow and then we are ready to die for it. That situation is different. That circumstance was different. We are currently in a different situation. We have to always understand the higher principle and the lower principle. So the scriptures, they are always contextual. We have to see the circumstances in which things are happening, and many times those instances cannot will not get replicated in our life, because we will never take a vow that and even if we take a vow, we'll always think, oh, this is not the right thing now, and I am not a kshatriya that I'm ready to die for it. Of course we have to take our vows which are favorable to our spiritual life. In our present context, we have to take vows which are favorable to spiritual life, and we have to try our best to follow those vows. And if some of our superiors, they are telling us some things which are not favorable to our spiritual vows, then we don't have to follow them. At the same time, we don't have to disrespect them. There are ways of saying no to our elders' requests, saying no without disrespecting them. That is what we have to learn, and that is the art. Okay. Any other question?
Uh, Thank you, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, in the beginning of the session, you had said something about, money, whether you're dealing in whichever form, negative, positive,
Yeah.
when you're dealing with it, it's a source of anxiety.
Yeah.
So could you elaborate on that? And you did say that, it should be offered to Krishna and his glorification. But could you give little bit elaboration on that? Like, how could we at a daily level deal with that?
Okay. Yeah. So basically, what the scriptures, they always say that when we are using money, we have to be really careful. Otherwise, money, as it is described by Parikshit, as the story we know, that when Kali, he asked for 4 places, some places to stay from Parikshit Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj, he told Kali that you can stay in the place where gambling is going on, intoxication is going on, in meat eating and illicit affairs are going on. But Kali said, "Oh, these places are not there in your kingdom. Please give me something else. He said, wherever there is excess accumulation of gold or money. So basically, when we are doing our business or earning money, of course, we have to be really careful how we are using that money. Otherwise, money is a very, very, you know, potential source of contaminating the mind if we are not very alert, because that is the intoxication of money. That's why it is described in the scriptures that if somebody has high birth, good bodily features, beauty, and wealth, Janma, Aishwarya, Shruta, and Shri, and high education. These four things, they are the prominent sources of getting intoxicated or illusion that, oh, I am such a wonderful, powerful, beautiful personality. How to not get affected by this influence of money? Earning money is not a problem. We have to, if we can become the uh, most rich person, richest in the world. But as Yudhishthira Maharaj is himself showing by his example, he was the richest. But how he used that money, that is very, very important. So therefore, earning money is not a problem. We can be ambitious to get more and more and more. But in the course of earning money, if we are not focused on the long-term goal, many times we are short-sighted. I want more and more money. But in the course of earning more and more money, am I giving more attention to earning money? Am I spending my time unnecessarily, more than required? That is called atyahar. Atyahar means ati ahar, more, taking more than what is needed. If you want to accumulate more, then you have to work more. You have to do the endeavor more. You have to do the more prayas. So therefore, as a spiritualist, we have to learn to balance. That is the art. Krishna consciousness is ultimately art of balancing our spiritual and material life. We cannot go to extremes. We should not go to only living in a material way, and we cannot just neglect our material life and just be in a spiritual life completely. That is not possible at our level. So we have to learn to have a proper balance, and that is the art we have to learn by hearing from those people who are actually in the world, practicing Krishna consciousness, maintaining business, taking care of the family. When we associate with them, then we get the proper understanding of how to balance the spiritual life and material life. Otherwise, material life by nature is very, very alluring. The glamour of the outside world, if we are not careful, very easily can distract a practicing spiritualist, because the gains of the spiritual life, they are not perceivable by gross senses, but the gains of material life, they are perceivable by gross senses. So it is natural that we will get attracted to the gross things of the world. To counteract this effect, we have to make ourselves very strong in our spiritual practices. The more we hear about the glories of spiritual life, and the more we hear about the faults of this world, not to demean them, but to be careful. This is the world, this is a beautiful world which is made by Krishna. We have to use this world in a right way to attain a spiritual destination. So, therefore, earning wealth is not a problem, but how to earn wealth at the same time maintaining our spiritual life properly. That should be the prime focus of a spiritualist, and that comes by practice. That comes by being with people who are practicing it. Sangat sanjayate kamaha. When we are with those people who are doing it, we also learn. That is the art. As Prabhupada says, he writes in one of the books, Krishna consciousness is not an idle meditation, it is a sort of cultivation. We have to cultivate this art of Krishna consciousness. Okay.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you
Hare
for
Krishna.
giving your time. Thank you for giving your complete concentration, all that we are. There might be some stupid questions for you, but thank
No,
you so much
they're
for
all wonderful
helping us
questions.
to move forward in our spiritual life.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.